Welcome to Juicebox Sports, presented by ZeetGeek. Get your seat tickets to sports, concerts, and rodeo events set at a cheaper price. Download the ZeetGeek app and use our promo code JuiceBoxSports to get $20 off on your next purchase using the ZeetGeek app. ZeetGeek, get your seat in the seat. I'm your host, Ranger Mario, and proud owner of the Green Bay Packers, 13 times world champions. Today, we got the 4 trades that ASTROS should consider. Correa says goodbye, and the Rangers, they're making moves. As Major League Baseball makes a return, here are some trades that the Astros should consider for the upcoming season. 1. The Astros could add an all-star caliber center fielder like Jose Siri to a great fielder of the future. And I also believe that Jake Myers and Chas McCormick and Siri tandem works great, just the way it does. This is why I doubt this trade happens. However, down the stretch, these guys just aren't getting it done. General Manager James Click could absolutely make a trade for a replacement. In my opinion, the best fit would be Brian Reynolds of the Pirates. He's only 27, so the Astros would have to give up a piece or two, as well as a few big prospects to get him. Pirates will not be competing for a while, but since Reynolds is young and is not a free agent until 2026, it will depend on whether the Pirates think he will stick around long enough for them to be a contender. This trade will probably take place right before the deadline, as it requires the tandem to be performing well. If Carlos Correa signs elsewhere, then a trade for a veteran shortstop could be an option. I must preface that this trade will only happen if Correa ends up signing elsewhere this offseason or this year. It will also rely on the Astros not going out and signing a replacement for Correa before the season starts. Let's assume either Lemus Diaz or Jeremy Pena are now the starting shortstop. Maybe Marwin. If either of them get into some kind of slump, I think that this trade has a medium to high potential of happening. The first option the Astros could make is trade for a player on the last years of their contract. Give up much less in the process. The only player that fit this scenario is Didi Gregorius, who hits 209 with a 639 OPS last year, both of which were worse than Diaz. The best cheap fit I see is the San Francisco Giant Brandon Crawford, who's 34 but coming from a All-Star 21. He slashed a 298 batting average and an 895 OPS, which are both improvements from Diaz. I project the Giants to decline this year, so there's a good chance they will be ready to deal with Crawford, a deadline for prospects. Since he's a bit older, the Astros will have to give up less, but almost will be getting him basically as a rental for one of 2 playoff pushes. Now, if the Astros want to really make a splash and go after a big name, they will probably have to give up a package that includes one of center fielder tandem, Pena, Forrest Whitley, and maybe someone else. This trade will definitely happen at the deadline. With Jimmy Garcia and Kendall Graveman elsewhere, the Astros could add another high-leverage bullpen arm. This is the most important trade, but also possibly the easiest one to get. If the 2021 World Series said anything, you know that we need more bullpen help, especially with Graveman now leaving. it should not be difficult for Click to deal some AAA guys at the deadline and pick up some solid relief from some non-contenders. It's basically what he did last year, the past trade deadline. But we need a bit more. Who should the Astros get? Depends who is having a good year when the trade deadline comes up. To be honest, in my opinion, relievers usually aren't good for very long. So it's hard to predict who will be at that point. And last, the Astros could acquire a front end of their rotation arm. Projected starting rotation of 2022 is JV, Lance McCullers, Framber, Garcia, and Jose Urquidy. This is a very solid lineup, especially when the last three have their stuff on point. However, I think that at this point, you have to go into the postseason assuming that either Verlander or McCullers will be out. I hate to say it, and I pray it doesn't happen, but there's a good chance that it will. With that in mind, the postseason rotation looks something on McCullers or Verlander in the front with Valdez, Garcia, and Urquidy to follow. Unfortunately, I just don't think that is good enough to win the World Series. I assume that Garcia will have a great year, but that still leaves a cloud of uncertainty over whether Valdez and Urquidy will be great pitchers in the postseason. That is why I think it's essential for the Astros to trade for one, if not two big name arms. This could happen at the deadline if they want a better deal, maybe for Charlie Morton, Aaron Nola, Sonny Gray, or Mike Minor, all of which will see free agency some kind after the season. Morton has a club option coming up, but I include him as if the Atlanta Braves are somehow slumping. Maybe he wants to come back home. The problem with the three guys besides Morton is that they will cost between 10 to 15 million each against the luxury tax, so I doubt the Astros will go after them. There are many pitchers out there for Click to go after, but it really just depends on what teams will be sellers at the deadline. Gray is the only one I see as a true possibility with the Reds window closing after the rough 2021 season. To swing that deal, I assume the Reds will have to pick up a portion of his contract. If the Astros want to go for some cheaper arms, I could see them trading for Merrill Kelly from Arizona, Tyler Anderson from Seattle, or maybe Kenta Maeda from Carlos Correa is ready to say goodbye to his Montrose home. The Astros shortstop, who is now a free agent, recently placed his house on the market for $1,500. 1.5 million. The contemporary quarters sit on a 6.2 square foot lot. 6.2 thousand square foot lot at 1231 Pettin Street and boasts 3 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Features that stand out in this sleek 57 square foot home includes a sitting area and a fireplace in the primary bedroom, a sport court, media room, a covered patio equipment with a TV and a gas log fireplace, a pool, and a hot tub. Drafted out of high school at 17, Correa made his MLB debut with the Astros in 2015. Correa won the AL Rookie of the Year, quickly became a darling for the franchise. He started in the World Series 2017. During post-game interviews, he dropped down on one knee and proposed to his then girlfriend, Danielle Rodriguez, Miss Texas 2016, and national television. The couple married in 2019. and welcomed their first child in 2021. At the end of 2021, Correa reportedly turned down a 5-year, $160 million offer from the Houston Astros and became a high-profile free agent. Now that 2022 season finally has a start date of April 7, the question is, where will Carlos Correa sign? Is it getting in the forefront of the Houston baseball fans? Harris County Appraisal District lists Correa's Montrose home as having an appraised value of $1,349,309 on the market and the market value of $1.4 million. Rangers making moves. Isaiah Kenner Falefa has been traded by the Rangers to the Twins. According to Jeff Passant on Twitter, catcher Mitch Garver is coming to Texas, and Ronnie Enriquez is going to Witt. Isaiah to Minnesota. This is a big surprise. It would not have been a big surprise a few weeks ago, other than, the lockout was going on. But with Josh Young having shoulder surgery, that is expected to cost him most, if not all, of 2022 season. Isaiah seemed like not just the best third base option for the Rangers, but the only real third base option. If Falefa gone, Andy Ibanez will seem to be the leader of the third base job internally, with Johnny Hernandez also hanging around. The Rangers like Davis Wenzel and Justin Focus has started getting reps at third base, but neither of them seem like guys who will get the job out of spring training. I would expect the team to look for a stopgap. There as Garver, he's a 31-year-old right-handed hitter, catcher, who like Falefa has 2 years of team control remaining. He slashed 256, 358, and 517 last year as the Twins pick a backup catcher while also playing some first base and DH. Thank you for listening to the Juicebox Sports Podcast. This podcast has been brought to you by Raise Energy. Check us out on Instagram at JuiceboxSportsHTX. Till next time.